Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, depending on where in the world you are or what time you're listening to or watching this podcast. This is the On The Bench podcast, and for this episode, I am your host, Mr. Talk to Frank, or just Frank if you prefer. And as you can see, for today's or tonight's session, it's just me and you, Al.
Oh, wow.
No one about you. Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, what would you do about you, mate?
I don't know. I've watched a couple of the comments, bring Al back.
Gas you up.
There you go.
Good and proper.
I'm ready tonight.
Good man, yeah. Pause. Now, Jay's at an event tonight, and watch this space. That's all I'm going to say. So we've got a busy show, as always. We're going to be talking about the Crystal Palace FA Cup win. Amazing result, amazing win. Their first trophy in 164-year history, which is a phenomenal achievement for those players.
Yeah, I thought that was exceptional.
Yeah. We'll be talking about the top four race hotting up.
Yeah.
Because there's some big games to come. Transfer rumours, obviously. Always fun doing transfer rumours. And of course, we'll preview the Spurs vs Man United Europa League final. We'll come to that in a bit. I know that you will love to talk about that. Right. So, Al, tell me, Crystal Palace FA Cup win.
I thought I was surprised.
You were surprised?
I absolutely going to say that I was surprised.
Why were you surprised?
The reason saying because Man City have never been a season without them winning a trophy.
Apart from Pep's first season, yeah, that's correct.
And obviously they were a bit annoyed when they're not even in the top four.
Yeah, at the moment they're not.
At the moment they got knocked out Champions League.
Yeah,
got knocked out the Carabao Cup.
Yeah,
and this was the only hope that they had. And
it's been a tough season for them, huh?
100%.
Been a tough season
to lose in the final. You could argue if it was like the top teams beating them, the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, but they lost to Spurs. Not Spurs, Crystal Palace.
You've got Spurs in the mind, haven't you, mate? You're worried about them, aren't you, on Wednesday?
No. So I think that's probably kick in the face.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually wasn't surprised. I actually thought Palace would do something. I think the way that the way that City play falls into Palace's hands. So cut the pressure, hitting them on the counter. Exactly how they scored their goal, and what a goal from Eze, man.
Man, listen, I think he's one of the most underrated player.
You think so?
100%.
He's quality, isn't he?
I'm telling you, he will go to big clubs in the summer. If not, Palace going to tie him up with big contract.
He's 26, 27 now, isn't he? He's not young anymore.
He's not young,
yeah.
Or he's not old
So
either.
now's the right time to move, I think.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah, he's a quality player. I thought, I actually thought Henderson, Munoz, and Richards at the back were all brilliant. Obviously, you saw that. What did you think of the penalty incident? I say penalty. Well, forget the penalty. Let's go to the red card first.
He should be sent off.
100%.
Regardless. VAR, I think for me, VAR just messing the game.
Do you think they bottled it?
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
It was a blatant one. It wasn't like
it was like a yard out as well, wasn't it? It wasn't even close.
He actually came out and actually punched the ball.
Away,
so that for me is a red card because one is you intentionally punch the ball away from the striker.
Yeah, no, I agree.
The VAR's comment was, well, he was away from goal.
But the punch took him away from goal. Like they were saying in the commentary.
He can score with his left foot, right foot, his knee, his head. But, the comment that they should have said, we messed up.
Yeah. I thought, Pep was fuming, to be fair. But I don't know why he had to go at Henderson at the end of the game. Like, talk to the officials, man. You got your 10 minutes of injury time. That's what I know. That's what I'm saying.
I think Pep's like that sometimes because I've watched him so many times, either when he loses or draws games and he will go opposition.
Yeah.
I don't know what
he's
things with him.
He's proper rattled.
He doesn't like players that give it back to him.
Yeah.
He does not like players that give it back to him. So he will shake hand, but he won't let go. He will hold it and tell you what he feels about you.
Yeah, 100%.
But obviously Henderson did say, well, you got 10 minutes that you wanted. What do you want?
Yeah.
So
no, it was. But I like seeing that, man. I like seeing the controversy. I like seeing, like, I feel like football's become so mundane now. I like to see emotions. I like to see players getting riled, and I like to see managers. Do you know what I mean? Like going at players and players going at managers. I like that. Sometimes it frustrates me, but sometimes I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I want to see more of that. Especially managers like Pep.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
The thing is, for me, sometimes I'll take it back and go, well, do you remember? I'll give you Miles Lewis when he said to
stay humble.
Haaland, stay humble. Yeah. The whole world went against him. How can he say he's only 17? But look at him.
Yeah.
He's been consistent. But Henderson did that to Pep. Yeah. Everyone's like, well, obviously Pep like he moans. No, it's not that.
Yeah.
You know, and Pep, you can see how many trophies Pep won.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
100%.
the respect, and then you know you can look at them and say, well, one of them was gunned down by the whole world, and the other one was like, well done, mate.
No, you're right. It is double standards, but do you know what? I feel like with the whole City situation, like where do they go from here, man? Like what? I mean, De Bruyne is leaving in the summer. Bernardo Silva, look, he might leave. We don't know. Grealish, Foden have been out of form. Haaland's been criticised. I heard Man City fans criticising Haaland. Like, obviously, Rodri will probably be back. He will be back next season. But where do they go from here, man?
I think they lack of creativity in the middle. And for me, I mean, everyone can still see De Bruyne still produces top-class performance week in, week out when he plays. Even when sometimes he comes on for 20 minutes, he changes the game.
He does.
And that you want to keep players like that, you know. But at the moment, since they've lost Rodri, I think
it's changed the whole team.
The whole team's changed because you can see he's bringing players left, right, and centre, but no one's able to kind of like play and perform the way Rodri did.
They spent 200 million in January. Marmoush missed the penalty, and Henderson actually said, "I was confident I was going to save that penalty." That says a lot. And why did Haaland give Marmoush the penalty?
That was a surprise. I think it's because Mahmoud has been on form and he's been playing regular. For me, that's the only reason I can think of Haaland gave. But then again, if you are the penalty taker, you step up.
Man, can you imagine, I don't know, Bukayo Saka or Bruno Fernandes or, I don't know, Mo Salah giving a penalty in a cup final to another player? No chance.
No chance. I think they would step up because you want key players to step up. It could be it could be a confident thing, Haaland.
Yeah.
As before he got injured, he hasn't scored for a few games.
Yeah.
You know, and that could be a massive. That could contribute to it massively.
Yeah. I was surprised, man, when I saw Mamouche holding the ball. I was like, what's he doing?
And he didn't even want it. You can see Haaland's walking away. Like
that's crazy.
You can see he didn't want it. You know, let's not take credit away from Palace. I mean, they have performed.
No, 100%.
They performed.
I agree.
The new manager. I mean, he gets them to play tactically really well, and he knows. He did his homework really well against Pep, and they knew how they play. He's like, have the ball, but we're here, just like what they did to Arsenal.
Yeah.
They let us play. He will let you play because he knows he's not going to win the ball by pressing you high.
And they've got ballers up top.
Absolutely, and he's got fast players, and they will hit you on the counter, and that's what they did.
Glasner actually said in one of his interviews, in one of his press conferences, I said to Pep, "You play like that against us. You play that against us again, and we'll beat you." And he did. He did. Fair play, man. That's crazy. 100%. Imagine saying that to Pep.
But again, that can also fire up the players.
Yeah.
That also can fire up the players.
It gives them confidence.
100%. Let's go out there do it for the manager.
Yeah, I love that, man. No, do you know what? I genuinely feel like, apart from obviously City fans, Brighton fans, and probably Charlton fans, everyone in the football world wanted Palace to win that final.
100%. Well, United fan as well.
Yeah, most definitely. Well done, Palace. Well done. Great result.
United fan as well. They wanted Palace to win. But when obviously I wanted Palace to win because that's my the club that I worked for a few years.
Worked for them,
but you can see there was a lot of changes week on week. I mean, year in year out with Palace. New manager, new system. Everyone had to adapt to that sort of style of a play. But credit to the players that there now that adapted this new system is brilliant. 100% amazing. They're doing it really well.
Didn't they start? Was it this season? I think it was this season. They started really poorly, didn't they? And then they just started picking up.
And they just picked it up, and that was because because sometimes it's not easy, adapting to new system. You got a new manager, he comes out with his ideas, but as a player, you got to be smart. I want to play for him. I want to impress him.
Yeah.
What does he want from me? And they'll tell you. Every manager will tell you, I want X, Y, and Z. So you got to do your homework. If he says to you, I want you to press. This is your angle of press. Or if he says this is the trigger on the press.
Trust the manager.
100%.
Yeah.
It's all about trying to be making sure that everyone buys in his ideas. And when you buy ideas, the manager's ideas, obviously there will be success.
100%, I agree.
I'm glad that they allowed him to
have his time.
100%, because nowadays, like, if managers had a poor start of the season, we're going to get relegated.
Yeah.
Manager gets sacked.
Well, they lost one of the best attackers in the league last season in Michael Elise in the summer. They also lost a very experienced player, quality player, Jordan Ayew. I like Jordan Ayew. And then they went and got Ismail Assar for, I think, 11, 12 million.
11,
Absolute bargain buy.
Oh, 100%.
And what a player he's been for them.
Man, listen. When you do your homework, and I say doing the homework is when, at least it didn't, it cost, they sold him for good money. They sold him good money. And they already knew the replacement. They knew who they wanted. Oh, 100%. Because
it's worked out well.
As a manager, because you won, when you bring, when you play in a system, you need to have the right players playing. And he only bought a couple of players to get the eye, because obviously he will send his first team scouts to go and watch. And won this player. Is he able to do X, Y, and Z? And when you send scouts, first team scouts, they should be able to do,
of course,
so many things.
Of course, massive job. Well, we had your boy on here, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago, Scout Mo. Yeah. Big up Scout Mo, man.
Yeah, Mo
told us a lot about the game.
No, definitely. Yeah. We'll have a one day duo, me and Mo.
Yeah. We have to get you guys both on together. Right. So moving on. The top 4 race is hotting up. Now, I've got a few stats here. So there's 1 point separating 3rd and 7th in the league currently. Newcastle are in 3rd. They play Everton at home on the weekend. So that's going to be a tricky game for them. 7th against 4th, Forest will host Forest will host Chelsea.
Yeah.
So that's another big game. That's a massive game.
Yeah.
Villa go to Old Trafford to play United. Hopefully, we'll be hungover from the Europa League win, the incredible Europa League win. Villa, you can have the 3 points, man. If we win that, it's take them, no problem. I don't mind.
So you want Villa to win that game?
No, I don't. If someone said Villa win that game, but United win the Europa League, I'd take it, no problem. And City are in 6th. They host Bournemouth. I think it's tomorrow night. And then they travel to Fulham away on the last day. So they got there's a lot of. It's not a done deal. There's so much that can happen on the final day.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah, ask me.
If Aston Villa, let's just say hypothetically, you want Aston Villa to win, and let's say Aston Villa are knocking Man City out, would you like Villa to win?
So you're saying, listen, I don't care what happens on the last day as long as we win that Europa League. But what you're saying is, would we let Villa win 100%. to knock Man City out of the Champions League?
Yeah.
100%. 100%, man. 100%.
I see. We Arsenal, we won't allow that unless it was the Spurs.
Well, again, we're going to touch on this later on. But do you know what? Look. Not very often the relegation all 3 teams has done so quickly. Not very often the title race is decided sort of for 3-4 games before. So the only thing that's left now is the European places. And like I said, there's 4 or 5 teams that could very well qualify for Champions League football. Of those, Newcastle, Villa, Forest, Chelsea, City. Of those 5, who do you think would get top? Who's going to get the top 4? Let's get top 5.
Premier League has been this season has been challenging. In the last few years, you'll always see City, Arsenal, Liverpool, 3-horse race. But this year has been pushed. Even last year, there has been a push up until last day of the season. But this season, I think, has been Villa. I mean, credit. They've improved massively. Yeah. Newcastle massively. I mean, come on, let's not take credit from Forest.
First trophy in almost 70 years as well. League Cup.
There you go. Yeah. And Forest now, come on. I think I personally would give him manager of the season. I mean, Nuno, I think he took them from relegation battle when he took over, and now they 3rd or 4th in the league, and potentially they'll all qualify in Europe. For me,
they've already qualified for Europe, so they could get Champions League.
They could get Champions League, but then again. Will they survive in the Champions League? For me, I'm not sure. You want to see top teams in the Champions League. Obviously, it's a good experience for them, and obviously a good revenue. But at the same time, is with the players that they have. But they have surprised us this season. They can play attacking as well as good defending. They've got a couple of decent players. I mean, they've got players who are hungry but haven't had the opportunity to play for big. Their respective team previously. Alanga now, come on. I'm sure big club.
He's balling out.
Because the way he's performing, he's got managers that believes in him now. He plays with flow. He's one player that bigger club Europe are going to be watching next season.
Sooner
Champions
or later,
League, yeah.
If he continues his form,
Oh, 100%. So I would. I think City are still going to be Champions League next season.
You think
I
they'll get them?
personally believe. I think they will be.
Well, they've got Bournemouth. That's a tough game, Al.
Yeah,
Bournemouth's
I know.
a tough game.
Yeah, but Bournemouth, they haven't been consistent. That's the thing.
Yeah, you don't know which. Yeah,
you know, you look what they did to Arsenal away, beating Arsenal away. I mean, who would have thought that 2-0 away to Arsenal? But then again, and then the other day they've lost to Brighton.
Yeah.
But then you can just see they're not consistent.
But I feel like they'll turn up for the big game against City.
They could, but then again, Pep always pulls out. That's the thing with Pep.
Yeah,
He always pulls out.
maybe. Yeah, we'll see. I think it's really, really interesting. And like I said, I think more than anything, like touching on City, obviously we spoke about it briefly earlier, surely they're going to spend a big this summer. Surely.
I don't think they will stop spending.
Yeah.
Whether it's a summertime or winter.
January.
I think they will.
Spring, summer, or winter.
They listen. The money, the flus has lick them up.
Okay.
I think they will. He will spend even massively, but then he's got a couple of players who now are not performing based on obviously. They lost the identity of the way that the football that they used to play.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Jack Grealish and he was loved.
What's going on with Grealish?
Now
man?
it's just like you can't even get in. You know, the thing is, to me, when you look at his lifestyle outside of football, that shows you why he's not performing. You know, he goes out party and.
But they knew that about him.
Yeah, I know,
when they signed him, they knew that about him. When he was that's not changed. He's always been that way.
Yeah, but when you, that was he used to travel from Villa all the way to Manchester, but now he just
It's just
a doorstep. Now he just can walk to the.
Stop sign goes across the road.
So that's the difference now. Where before he would travel 2-3 hours to go and have a pint, but now it's like there it is. But
that's crazy,
is I think he's the one player that I would like to remain and do well, but.
I think he's going to leave soon. I think,
100%.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if. Would you be surprised if he went back to Villa? If they wanted him?
They'll take him. I mean, look, Villa taking all the reject players right now. Marcus Rashford.
Sorry about that, Dino.
No, credit. I mean, you know, he's done tremendously well. I mean, he's taken players that are
he's a boss, man.
That he feels that are world class players. Are obviously had a little bit of a, you know, little misunderstanding with their managers, obviously, and you can see now. What's your player that went to Real Betis? Anthony, look at him, 80 million player. Jordan Sancho, he's performing. Rashford. I mean, the players who would have made United right now. Honestly, like I would think United should have been top 5 with those players playing and performing. Yes, you'll have a clash, and sometimes a new manager coming in. Obviously, you need to have that relationship because he's young as well. People forget. He's young, you know. There's not much age difference. Yeah, he's young. Yes, he's done tremendous well his previous club, but then again coming into a United, you know, it's a big shoe to fill. Yeah. I mean, I have still yet to see if anyone could, you know, dominate the way Ferguson dominated.
No, that's never going to happen again. We won't see that ever again.
And that is the thing. I mean, they've had loads of world class managers, but I think for me, that will be irreplaceable because he was, you know, if you don't perform, there'll be flying boots hitting you in the face. So, and that's the thing. I think they played for him because they feared him. And that was Ferguson they feared him because they knew the moment they step in onto that pitch and they don't perform second up there, you can see their sleeves. Oh my God, we're going to get it.
Well, I don't know how we got onto Man United, but we'll talk about it anyway because I never want to shy away from talking about Man United.
We're talking about Ferguson because
the manager side.
The manager side because Ferguson will tell you if you don't play him for the badge.
Well, it's interesting that you say that because Patrice Evra was on a podcast the other day and he was talking about I wasn't afraid of him. I was afraid of letting him down because I had so much respect for him and for the club and that for me that's even higher if you know what I mean. Like that carries more weight because you know being scared of someone, okay, but being afraid to let someone down carries just more weight for me.
Yep, Stam.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you heard of Yapstam say, well, I don't want to go in a room with Ferguson? And that is, and Yapstam, it wasn't someone that anyone can intimidate.
No, absolutely not.
And when he comes out and goes, try and underperform on Ferguson.
Didn't fancy it.
Honestly. And that's the thing, that they didn't fear him as in like in a vicious way. They feared him as letting him down. And that's the thing, because when you're playing for a manager like who you can't let him down, for me, I think that was one thing as a manager, because people forget being the manager is you need to have a respect, as well as obviously the respect goes both ways. But sometimes now is some players think that they bigger than the club. And when the new manager comes in and he likes to make a lot of changes, and some players don't, they don't want the changes. They've had their way for many years, and he comes in, and he wants to stop, this, he wants to stop that. And obviously, I think sometimes before you start putting authorities in, get your key players in.
Agree.
Trying to persuade them. This is your intention.
Get the buy-in.
100%. Especially Rashford. I thought Rashford would have been. He would have made a massive difference.
He's. I mean, I love Marcus Rashford, Man United boy, and that, but he's had trouble with a, for a while now with off the pitch and stuff. So we're led to believe. So I'm not surprised that eventually a manager was going to come in and just try and nip it in the bud, and he'd done that pretty quickly. I want to ask you. Obviously, we're talking about the top four. Arsenal secured their spot as runners up this season again.
There was no question on that, man.
Well, it kind of was a small question.
No, there wasn't.
But obviously, getting a good result against Newcastle.
Ask Jordan when he comes back next week.
I'll ask him next week. Jay, watch his space. So obviously, they've now secured runners up spot again. That's 3 seasons in a row. Where do Arsenal go from here? Obviously, we all know that they need to buy a striker in the summer. I'm not even going to talk about that. Aside from that,
I think we've been stubborn.
What do you need?
I think we've been stubborn for years. We all knew what we needed. I think he had faith in Gabriel, Jesus. Yeah. I think, and Havertz stepped in, and he did well. I'm not going to lie, he did well, but they need
a 25-30 goal a season.
100%, because that's for the last 4 years. It wasn't even last 2 years, last 4 years. They never had.
Since Aubameyang, that's the last big striker you bought. Big name striker.
That's big name that we bought. Obviously, we sold Aubameyang, Lacazette, but the replacement, Jesus, he had so much faith because he had him Man City.
Man City, yeah.
So he knew, but the Man City were different then, but now.
He just gets a lot of injuries, doesn't he?
Oh, man. You need the player who can score more than 25 goals for Arsenal. I mean, our top scorer is Saka. And he's not a striker.
He was out for 3 months as well.
And he was out for 3 months. And on top of that, he's our top assist. But again, the amount of balls that he puts in the box. If there was a striker, we would have scored so many goals, because there's no striker who's in there.
Well, Havertz was bought as... I mean, I know they paid 65 million for Havertz, but he wasn't bought as a striker. You moved him there eventually, but he was played as an 8, wasn't he?
He was 8, or he was playing false 9. He
wasn't even playing false 9.
So the reason that if you look at the system that Arsenal plays, the Jesus normally drops the ball deep, and that's why Havertz goes up as a 9. So it's to try and draw the players and get that ball over the top, and it worked. It worked for you. It worked in games, and sometimes when your position they know how your system and how you play, they will close that gap. But for me, they needed a striker who runs behind, who's fast, who can score goals, and compose in front of the goal. I mean, Havertz is not a striker, but you give him about 10 chances, he puts 1 in. But you need a striker there who knows the goal, compose front of the goal.
Who'd you go for?
Oh, Victor Gyökeres from
Gyökeres. You like him?
Oh man, this guy is literally. It's like I'd say he's a Thierry Henry.
No, he's nothing like Thierry Henry.
He will be a Thierry Henry.
He's nothing like Thierry. As in the amount of goals that he will score, you mean?
Yeah. I think if we get him now, he will definitely score at least 20 goals first season.
Yeah, in all comps or just in the league?
I think just for the league.
Really?
I would put money, because looking at the runs that he makes, he suits Arsenal's start 100%.
Okay, fair enough.
Definitely not United, but definitely Arsenal.
We'll touch on that in a second. Right, aside from a striker, what else would you like? I keep hearing Arsenal fans talk about another left winger. Where does that leave Martinelli? And would he be happy to play second fiddle?
Martinelli and Trossard who are both doing well. For me, I won't get another one. And the reason, because I don't know why they're both.
So you're happy with Martinelli and Trossard?
Both of them, 100%.
They ain't gonna like you, bro. They ain't gonna like you.
Whether you like me or not, because I will. Thing is, as a fan, is different. As a coach, is completely different.
Yeah. I get that.
Because what
completely.
I will look at is when they play is the amount of crosses they put in the box. But when you look at Arsenal, who's in the box? Saka.
There's no one to assist.
Saka, and then the other night he was jumping against Bun, who's 6'7".
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? But when you have a striker who can muscle players, a centre half like that, then you need it. But
he
then
occupies
again,
them, yeah.
But
you missed Havertz, to be fair. You missed Havertz a lot.
Oh yeah, we did, because he's present on the pitch. Even when he came on, you could see him.
He was giving it to them. Yeah.
He was giving it to them, but then still same Havertz.
It never changed, innit?
Never changed.
Okay, fair enough. So you mentioned Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah.
Now, rumours have come out over the last 24, 48 hours that Man United are really, really interested in him now, and they've contacted his agent. Supposedly, this is rumours.
Yeah.
And if United do get Champions League football, they win the Europa League. That sort of windfall of money that they get is going to help with them going for Gyökeres.
You're my honest.
Tell me.
Well, obviously, as we all saw, United cutting down budget left, right, and centre, right? No, but on a serious note, I think that's his ex-manager, who actually helped him to become, as lethal as possible, because you can see he's hard to play against.
Gyökeres.
Really hard, 100%.
Yeah. He bullies defenders, didn't he?
Even Gabriel said he was tough to play against him, even though they kept him quiet. But he was still getting chances, and he scored 4 against City.
Yeah.
And Rodri was playing then.
Yeah.
But obviously, Saliba and
he scored a hat trick, didn't he, against City?
4.
Was it 4?
He scored. I think he scored 4.
I'm sure it was a hat trick. But yeah, regardless, he bagged the hat at least.
You could see. He scored nearly 100 goals in 2 seasons.
Yeah, this season he's got 60 something goals.
And last season 40 something. But then again, Premier League is always hard, isn't it? Champions League is so hard.
But even if he gets 25 goals in all comps for Arsenal,
that's the 25
he could be
goals.
The difference. He could be the difference.
Every game that we drawn, we could have won the game, or every game that we've lost,
the difference. And he'll get service at Arsenal as well.
100%.
Yeah,
you've got.
So that's your guy, Gyökeres.
Oh, 100%. Okay. And I like Sesko.
Benjamin Sesko.
Right. I like him.
Talk to me as a coach. Talk to me about Sesko, because I've seen a little bit of him. I've not seen enough of him. I know he's quite raw in terms of the way that he plays, and he's not polished yet. But what do you see potential-wise?
He's someone that he reminds me of Anelka. Young Anelka.
Sesko, really?
100%. But have a look at him when he comes on the pitch. He's a game changer.
Okay, so what?
He's a game changer. He runs behind. He puts fear on centre back. You want a striker who puts fear on centre backs. Every time he comes on, defenders are absolutely afraid of the type of runs that he makes.
Okay.
He goes short, but then goes long.
Because you've said to me before, you watch off the ball more than on the ball nowadays.
Oh yeah, because it's as a centre half. So obviously 2 against 1. Yeah. So obviously if he goes there, you mark him. If he comes here, I'll mark him.
Yeah.
But when he goes deep, and then obviously you ball watching player. But what he does is then you get confused. Where is he? The next thing you know, that ball's going to go over or between, and he'll outrun. And that's the kind of
he's quick. He's quick. Yeah,
he's very
rapid,
quick, and he's left foot, right, 2-footed, isn't he? So that's the thing that they. They're afraid of, if he gets on his right-hand side, he can still score. If he gets on his left-hand side, he can still score.
Yeah.
But he's a player who I think that can get better. I like him. I've always said, even when he was...
No, there's definitely a bag, and there's a lot of room for improvement. And Leipzig haven't qualified for European competition this summer. This season, yeah, for next season, sorry. So this summer, him and Xavi Simons could be going. That's big.
But then again, they're not going to come cheap.
No, of course not. You won't get them cheap. No.
But then again, City already got the money.
Where do you think you could end up, Sesko?
I think he might go Liverpool.
You think so?
You know what? Liverpool are looking for striker. They're looking for striker. I think he might go Liverpool.
But Liverpool want Isak, don't they? Liverpool want Isak.
He doesn't want to go to there. He doesn't want to go to.
Who said that?
Huh?
No, I heard he does. I heard he's interested.
I got contacts.
You heard it here first, guys. Yeah.
I don't think he will go to Liverpool.
Yeah.
He won't go from.
Okay. From Newcastle to Liverpool.
To Liverpool.
If Newcastle get Champions League, I think he might stay there another season.
Newcastle or go abroad. He won't go.
You think so?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
He became part of them. He speaks Geordie now.
Big up Alex Isak, man. Baller. Right. One that's doing the rounds now is Matheus Cunha, very close to joining United. In personal terms have supposedly been agreed now, which is massive. And I think it's basically a case of they know what to offer him in terms of contract if they get Champions League football and if they don't. So he's probably agreed with this for yes and this for no.
Oh, okay.
So that's almost done. How do you rate Cunha and how do you think he'll fit in at Man United? Do you think he'll do well? Do you think he'll be a hit signing if we get him?
I think he's another one. He's a temperamental player. You know, he loses. Oh man, he loses his head quite easily.
Cantona-esque. Big up Eric, man. Legend. Yeah, go on.
The thing is, you want a game change. You want a game winners, you know, and sometimes you need to control your emotions. You know, he had about 4 red cards this season already.
Has he had? Is it? Yeah. Are you sure?
Yeah, have a look.
Right, I need to check that out.
Go and check. Honestly, he gets quite, he loses his head quite easily. But then again, you know, there's a lot of managers ever since that they've coached him, he'll get sent off twice at least. But this season, he's got more red cards than any other player in the Premier League.
I need to see this. I need to see
go
this.
For it. You probably say, "Oh, it's 5 now."
Let's have a look at Matheus Cunha.
Go on, let's get Matheus Cunha.
Well, in the league, he's got none.
He's got none.
Yeah, in the league, he's got
serious?
none. I thought, in the league, he's got none.
Oh, is it all cup games?
I'm guessing so. Yeah. Red cards this season.
Well, let's have a look then. I might be wrong.
Matheus Cunha.
Unless they forgot to update.
Yeah. He's had 2.
2?
He's had 2. 5 red cards, you know. Are you all right there, mate? Are you all right there? So yeah, so let's go back. So let's go. I'm not going to go into that. Yellow cards. So you know what? Let's go into it. So if he played, because they want him for that number 10 position, how do you think he fits in that number 10? Do you think he'll be?
I don't know if because they got Bruno there already.
But there's 2 of them. There's 2 players that play there, and he can play as the number 9 as well. Remember?
But again, he plays. So you look at the system that you know that he plays. He plays 3-5-2. So he plays 3 at the back with one wing backs, and then 1 protecting and 2 attacking with 2 strikers. When he was at Lisbon, that was one of the most feared system that he had, because he always had that players there who can actually beat.
There's overloads everywhere.
There's overload. Yeah. They win duels. They win 1v1 battles, and as a defensive unit, they did really well. They probably one of the team that most conceded goals in Lisbon, in Portugal. But in here is completely different. So here is. You don't play attacking football. Not every team plays attacking football in Premier League. So you could play any system, you know, have a look at Palace and Man City. But with United, they like to overload the wide and they try to hit players from out. But then again, it's all about, teams will always stop you from switching the play. Because if they stop you from switching the play and they press you hard, and that means you now have to adapt to the second.
Which is true, because that is an Amorim thing. Switching play is a big
and keep hasn't been helpful either, because every time and that's where players are very smart. If he goes to the keeper, make sure we press him on his strongest foot, so push him towards his weaker foot. As soon as you do that, he's like, oh shit, where's every player? And that's the thing with him, he panics. And I am until right now, I will never forgive whoever got rid of De Gea. Even though I'll say it because De Gea for me was, come on man, he's playing now. He's probably the best goalkeeper in Serie A.
No, I disagree. I think, obviously I watch Man United a lot, and
so let me ask you. So you think Onana is
no.
So do you think if De Gea stayed?
No, it was right. Objectively,
yeah.
De Gea, it was time for him to go because he was on 375k a week and he was making mistakes. Okay. But at the same time, in hindsight, Onana was not the right keeper to go for either. So what I'm saying is, De Gea, yes, let him go. Onana, don't sign him. Does that make sense? Did
say that he was willing to take a pay cut.
I don't know if he was, but even if he was, what would the pay cut be? 250k a week? that's still a lot of work. That's still a lot of money.
I know, but at the same time, we're talking about United. We're not talking about a club who's fighting for relegation battle. We're talking about clubs who wants to win.
Technically, we have been fighting a relegation battle, but we're not going to get into that.
That is very true. But for me, on a serious note, because I thought De Gea was always the right person.
No, I thought it was right to get rid of him.
Sometimes he'll have a one-off season, but then again, I'll tell you what, he won every game for United.
Listen, David De Gea in his prime was, for me, probably the best shot stopper I've ever seen in my life. Probably. You know what I mean? Definitely top 3, top 4, without a doubt. But when his form started dipping, I mean, the amount of mistakes that he made are like he was driving me crazy, man. Like silly mistakes, like easy ones as well. Like nothing difficult.
But he wasn't let go because of mistakes, though.
No, he was let go because the manager that came in, i.e. Ten Hag, wanted a goalkeeper that could play with his feet, which they already couldn't. And the wages were very, very high as well. Yeah. Like I said, 375k. Even if he dropped down wages, what's he going to drop to? As I said, 250, 300? Still ridiculously high for a goalkeeper. So, as I said, I think it was the right decision to get rid of him. However, speaking of goalkeepers, Emi Martinez was emotional and waved goodbye to Villa fans in the last home game in the Premier League over the weekend. And rumours are that he actually has an offer from Man United this summer, and supposedly Barcelona and potentially Saudi as well. But he's definitely leaving.
I'm not going to lie, that really shocked me.
What, when you saw that?
Yeah, because it
came out of nowhere, right?
No, it came out of nowhere because I never thought that he would leave Villa.
Not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon, because obviously they've done. He's been there since he left Arsenal. Yeah, and he's the number 1 for Argentina. Yeah, man, he's incredible goalkeeper, but that really shocked me. But I would not say he will go United.
You don't think so?
I don't think he will go across United. Yeah. Obviously, rumours but I'd probably say he either go to. I won't say Barcelona. Would definitely go to.
But are Barcelona looking for a goalkeeper because they've got Szczesny, they've got Ter Stegen?
Szczesny was just
stopgap.
A stopgap, because they've got this young goalkeeper who's actually better than Szczesny, but they only bought him because of experience in the Champions League. They got this young goalkeeper who's really good. And
so that's what I'm saying. Are they looking for a goalkeeper?
I'm not sure if they want a goalkeeper. I don't think they will get for goalkeeper because at the moment, when you look at them, he's probably a couple of months away from coming back. Next season, he's definitely coming back.
Who's Ter Stegen? Yeah. So you said that you think Emi will go to Barcelona, though?
I don't know, because obviously he waved. It was emotional wave, but then again, obviously rumours will always say, Barcelona might go to United. But then again, when you look at him, they don't need it. Do United want a goalkeeper? Absolutely. But
so you changed your mind in about 30 seconds?
No, but what I'm saying is Martinez the right player? No, because he doesn't use his feet.
For United. No, but listen, in an Amorim system, the goalkeeper doesn't need to use his feet as much. Because no, he doesn't. He doesn't because that's why you've got 3 centre backs. They're the ones that you need ball playing centre backs that can. The centre back needs to be able to carry the ball. The other 2 centre backs need to bring the ball forward. So the goalkeeper isn't really.
Harry Maguire's not going to do that.
No, Harry Maguire's good on the ball. Come on, man.
He's your top scorer recently. He's
big up Harry. Man. Love Harry. Yeah. So I mean, for me, in an Amorim system and the way that Amorim wants to play, we just need a goalkeeper that's commanding, that will come off his line when need be, is decent with the ball, not great, it doesn't have to be, and just doesn't make silly mistakes like Onana has been. That in itself could be potentially transformative for the back line.
If you ask me, Willie, do I want him to go to United? I'd say no.
Of course you don't want him to go to United.
I want him to go to United. That's not the way we're having fun. When's the last time
so you think if he did go to United, he'd be a good signing?
100%.
Yeah, I think so too. He's 32 now.
The thing is, what you got to see as a back line is when you know you got a goalkeeper that you can rely on. You can afford to make a mistake.
Yeah, completely agree.
We got cover. Mm-hmm. But when you know you can't make a mistake and you know your goalkeeper isn't the player,
shaky, yeah, it puts you under more pressure.
100%, and that's why United at the moment are shaky because they cannot afford to make a mistake because he's not the one that to save him. Before when I said De Gea back in the days, and you see them make a mistake and they go,
he pull off a save.
We got him.
Yeah.
But Onana is completely different. He doesn't even need to get to the centre back, but he was the one that makes a mistake.
Yeah.
And that is is a key thing about. Goalkeepers, they're very key. People forget that, but even during coaching, when you go to your levels, you will understand how much goalkeepers are included in a session. And if you don't include any goalkeeper in the session, you probably fail your course.
Really?
Yeah, when you go to UEFA courses and B or C.
Especially now, has it always been the case?
Always been the case.
Oh, okay.
I think they introduced it when they introduced the Youth Module 3, Youth Module Award. But because people always forget, goalkeepers, you don't need it, just stay in goal. But again, they part of the play. You have to include it. And one of the key session of the assessment was it was included goalkeeper scoring from goalkeeper's hand, and which
is what you done, didn't you?
Which is what I've done, and that's the thing, because keepers are key in the game, but people forget that. They always forget about to include the goalkeepers,
right? And
people don't give them any task whatsoever, and they're just standing there. So what's my task? And then when the tutor watches, you go, "What's the keeper doing?" "Oh, he's just standing there." But I would not. Because I'm an Arsenal, innit? I would not want him going United.
Yeah, of course.
Probably Saudi. Go Barcelona, Saudi. I don't care.
Get him out of here, innit?
Get him out of here.
Right. The last rumour, which is a big one to be fair. Florian Wirtz, top player, German international, had a great Euros as well. He was strongly linked with City and Liverpool recently as well, but is supposedly now agreed to join Bayern Munich from Leverkusen. Of course, he's going to go to Bayern Munich in Germany. What's your thoughts on that? And how do you rate Wirtz?
I rate him really high. Yeah. He's an incredible player.
Yeah, he is.
Man, I watched him this year. He was exceptional.
Yeah.
But they won't go. They know if they come to Premier League, they're not going to perform as much as they were performing.
Even him. Well, Kevin De Bruyne did.
Kevin De Bruyne
transformed.
But Kevin De Bruyne, he was performing when he was in the belly, and that's the thing with De Bruyne. It's just. Mourinho, even Salah, anyone that any players that he on now, Jose, honestly, he killed players, man. Honestly, if you don't,
he even makes or breaks them, innit?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But when they beat United the FA Cup 1-0 years ago, I think I watched a podcast the other day with Shaw Wright Phillips and
Josie beat us.
Yeah, and they haven't played for like 10 games. Sure, right, Phillips. So he said he pulled him on the side and said, "Listen, I'm going to play you on Sunday, right?" Sean like, "Well, I haven't played for last." Ruben has been playing for the last couple of games, so he's been performing. He's like, "Don't worry, we'll play. All I want you to do is double up Ferrero with Ronaldo. I want you to stop Ronaldo."
Oh, this is 2006 or 2007. Yeah.
That's all they did. He goes, "I did more defensive than attack." He goes, "We will win the game 1-0. He goes, "I just want you to stop Ronaldo." He goes, "That's what we did." He goes, "He changed my game." And then he goes, at one time, him and Joe Cole got taken off at half time. Well, not even half time, 20 minutes. Craven Cottage, and 20 minutes into the game they both got taken off, and they went into the shower, both of them angry, and Sean Wright Phillips just sitting there like nothing happened. But Jose Mourinho's one of those players that I will say he really deeply will mess players' minds.
He's like, the way that he sees football is very mental. Absolutely, he plays mind games. But a lot of players with Jose Mourinho have said he wants to test you. Even with the press. Yeah, of course. The press loved him. The press lapped it up.
It doesn't give him the correct answer. The other day they asked him, "You played 26, 27 players. How do you select them?" He goes, "Easy. Throw the coins in the air and pick the..."
Jose, man, never change. I saw that.
Honestly, he's just... He's
a legend, isn't he?
And the other day he smacked one of the opposition managers back of the ear.
It's the second time he's done that.
He gets banned 4 or 5 games, comes back, does it again. He don't care. And now he turned around and said, any relegation battles, he went, "Call me, Premier League, I'll come." How are you going to say that when you're contracted to a club?
But he just don't care, does he?
You don't know, that's the thing. But for me, I think when he came Chelsea, I think he was known to Premier League, and he annoyed Ferguson and Wenger and anyone. He got into the head. He will honestly go manager's head. He won't go player's head. And he was one of those players that will literally go behind every manager's back and go, "Come and play for me." Ashley Cole, who would thought Ashley Cole would go, he wasn't even the money. He doubled his money, but Ashley Cole was happy. But he honestly psychologically played to Ashley Cole's mind.
So yeah, Florian Wirtz. We
Back to
completely
him.
swayed off.
Mate,
Yeah,
listen.
like I said, he's. But look, the reason why I brought him up, I know he's staying in Germany, but the reason why I brought him up again, you know, I think he was arguably City's number one target to replace Kevin De Bruyne.
Well,
so what do they do now?
I personally think he is still not done deal.
Yeah,
With Bayern Munich.
He could change his mind. You think?
100%. Listen, if City come around and said, "I'll give you 8 years contract and this much money,"
I'm hearing that the deal's too expensive though.
Listen, there's nothing expensive for Man City.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's nothing expensive for Man City.
It'll be one to watch.
Listen, like Arsenal, we've done so well. We finished second in the league, semi-final in Champions League. We've got 350 million to play with.
Yeah.
City, sixth in the league, haven't been anywhere far in the Champions League. Lost the FA Cup in the final. They got millions, billions, not millions, billions. So again, they got that money, but then again, he's got quality young players. When you look at Matt,
but Pep, I don't know.
He wants to rebuild again. For me, I think he wants to rebuild.
He has to.
Because they've won like 3 years on the bounce, and obviously Bernardo Silva, he was over 30. He bought Gundogan as just temporarily
stopgap as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously they lost Rodri and Ruben Dias. People forget. He's been phenomenal as well. So far for them,
he's been an excellent signing for them.
Even the new right back,
Kusanov.
He's
not playing him. He stopped playing him now. I know. You don't like him anymore. Yeah, how did you dash it? Like, what is it? How much it cost? 40, 50 million? How did you dash him to the side like that?
Million. First game he scored. I mean, the first game he played, or was it second game?
He made a mistake.
He made one mistake. He just got back in.
I
think with Pep,
one time.
I think with Pep, he doesn't like players who don't listen. I think this is a key thing for players. You know, he's one of those managers. If he tells you to stand there, you have to stand. You can't ask him, how long do you want me to stand? You can't move around because you're not getting the ball. Yeah. There's a reason why he says, stay there. Do not move, stay there. It's a discipline. He does it to test players.
You can see what Arteta did it from.
He's done it to Ibrahimovic. He's done it to Thierry Henry. Man, Thierry Henry scored a goal. And he took him off second half. He's like, what did I do? It's because he's one of those managers that he will test you. You're not above me.
Yeah.
I'm in charge.
He likes to be in control.
Oh, yes, 100%.
Yeah. Right. So, lastly, we're going to preview the Europa League final between Tottenham and Manchester United. Now, as we both know, as a United fan, I know there's a lot riding on it, but as an Arsenal fan...
okay, thank you.
As an Arsenal fan, there's also a hell of a lot riding on it.
Okay, as a United fan, not Spurs fan, but...
You're a United fan for the night, yeah?
No, I'll still be Arsenal fan.
Okay, but I'm a United fan.
Okay.
And I'm saying to you there's a lot riding for it, but as an Arsenal fan, tell me you don't want Spurs to win this Europa League. Surely not, over Man United. Surely not.
Oh, no.
You want United. You'll be supporting United just for a couple of hours.
I still can't say. I don't want any of them to win.
I just hope both teams lose.
hope both teams share it. I'd say I personally would want United to win. But obviously, definitely not.
We'll see what happens, yeah. All right, so... Where do you see the game go? Right, do you know what? Let me just skip. So it could be Ange's last game for Spurs, regardless of what happens, because they've not been happy with his performances and results, obviously. This could potentially be Spurs' first trophy since 2008's League Cup win, 17 years ago. That's how long ago it was. So this is a massive game for Spurs. For Man United, it will not only mean that Champions League football is going to be at Old Trafford next season.
Attracting players.
It's attracting players. It's an 80 to 100 million pound windfall of money, and the club desperately need the money to rebuild the way that they want to rebuild. So, how do you see the game going? First of all,
can I just say they're both poor?
Yeah, thanks for that, Al. 16th and 17th in the league. Yeah, cheers for that. Yeah.
But ended up being in the Europa Cup final, and they're both like 17, 18.
It's the power of the Premier League, isn't it?
No, seriously. I think on Europe they're both performing well in Europe, and I think, I don't know why, but the English teams nowadays, as they dominate in the European League, European sides. I think PSG are the only team that beaten English teams quite.
They beat Arsenal, but PSG have been excellent.
They've been excellent, but other than that, you can see. Villa they even gave Villa a run for their money as well. I mean, but Villa gave PSG a run for their money as well. So, but for me, I think it's like playing it'll be like a Premier League football.
Do you think it will be,
Oh,
even with foreign officials?
They both going to be more kind of like less risk taking.
Pragmatic.
Oh, 100%, because they played each other three times already in the season. Because
Spurs one of all three. Context.
I think United will probably nick it this time, just purely because of the players that are available for them.
Yeah.
The Spurs got a couple of key players injured, but obviously United have been more kind of like more now kind of settled than Spurs. Because when you look at in terms of conceding goals, vastly Spurs concede way more than United, and they've got a couple of really key experienced players in the group as well, United. But I personally feel United will get this game. I'll put prediction and be like 3-1.
3-1 to United?
I personally would think.
I'll take that all day, mate. I'll take that all day and night.
I think it's because I'm not United fan.
Yeah, the emotions are taken out of it. Casemiro and Ugarte in midfield most likely will start. I don't know for sure, but most likely that'll be the midfield too. But one thing we do know that 95% it will be Bentancur, Sarr and Basuma in the middle for Spurs. Obviously, the way that the systems work, the inverting fullbacks for Spurs, the wing backs for Man United. How do you see that sort of midfield area, wide area battle going?
And I think this is where he will win the midfield battle because because Ange likes to play from wide, so he doesn't like you don't see his fullback tucked in, so they're not invert.
Right.
So hence why that they are. Whenever they play games, they always lose that midfield battles because he wants to get as quickly as possible to final third, but they're not even getting final third because they don't have that invert fullbacks to come in to play as a that extra midfield to give them. But then again, he wants them to stay out wide where. United, they've got 3 centre-backs with 2 holding, and that gives them that power in that midfield.
With wing-backs that can...
With wing-backs and also 2 attacking midfielders on the top with a strike. So that, for me, is already, if you started playing football from the back, United already there. And defensive side, I think United probably will dominate the final third, whether it's a duels, whether it's a 1v1. But for me, Ange struggled to get these players to understand how he wants them to play because every time that they go out trying to, attack from wide areas, they got punished for it, and that's how they've been conceding goals. And then if you look at the recent, they've lost 3-0 the other day, but it just shows you that they were outplayed.
And who do you think could be the match? I mean, obviously you're predicting Man United. You've mentioned that. Who do you think would be the match winners for Man United? Who can you see making a difference and damaging Spurs?
I think Nacho.
You think so?
I think he will turn up this one. I think I don't know, that kid, he just turns up big games, like final cup games. I think he probably will turn up. But again, let's not take credit from Spurs because Sarr has been tremendous for them this year. Son's just coming back to full full fitness as well. So he's another one. He's another threat as well. But for me, I think it's going to be a tight one, this one, even though I said 3-1 prediction, but I think it's going to be a tight one because they're not both of them going to go at each other. One's got to take a risk in order the other one
Spurs
to...
more likely to take the risk the way that they play.
Oh, 100%. But Spurs will... Thing is, and he struggled to get them. I mean, in Europe, it worked because none of the teams understand how they play, but here under every game you got first team analysis that go out and watch players and they know the opposition's weakness and aerial weaknesses, so that's where they attack.
Okay, fair enough. And what about players like Romero, Van de Ven at the back for Tottenham, Bruno Fernandes and Casemiro for Man United? Do you think they'll have a big say in this game?
Listen, you only talk about Spurs so much, innit?
No, I want to hear. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you, man.
I watched
really
Casemiro. I watched Casemiro, Romero the other day, and you can see he doesn't want to play there anymore. He
Really?
does not want to be there. I think he came out.
He came out and said that he wants to play in La Liga because he wants to play in the top three leagues.
And you can see, honestly.
But this is a final, and he's a South American lad. You know what I mean? He's going to be on it.
But then again, whether it's a final, if you've already been playing like that in the last couple of games, in your mind, everyone's going to be thinking, yes, honestly, he's under pressure. But then again, I mean, I like Van der Ven. He's quality. I think he's probably in the wrong team, if you ask me. But no, seriously, he's a young. Don't do that. No, Rastafari. No, I think they obviously. But the thing is, they can't just defend for the whole team. Obviously, they need that fullback to support them as well. And obviously, they need that number 4 who can drop in when they get split. Because United, they don't. Because when you look at Bruno, he doesn't play as a 10 for me. He plays free role. He's a free. He's a free player. He moves to. He's 1 minute is here, and he's got that freedom because he's been allowed to have that freedom, and that's where they will struggle to kind of like stop him from playing. And if making those runs behind, then they will struggle because obviously you got Garnacho running at you. And I'm not sure if
Mason Mount.
Come on.
He's been in form recently, man. He's got a couple of goals.
He just scored 1 goal.
He scored 3 goals in the last 3 appearances.
He's still, for me, he's still far away.
You think so? From fitness or from
match fitness?
Okay, well we'll see.
So he needs to hit top form at the moment. He's not there yet.
Okay, ask you another question. Gary Neville came out on the overlap and was very, very critical of Man United's team and said that only Bruno Fernandes gets into the Spurs team from Manchester United, which I don't agree with. And I think Gary Neville, as much as I respect him, he's he's a club legend and was a club captain at the club that I supported for a long time. But he needs to calm down with the criticism of the players, man, because I disagree with that. I feel like Amad Diallo would get into Spurs' team. I feel like a fully fit Luke Shaw gets into Spurs' team.
If I understand you well, so he said the United players that can get into
Spurs' team, only Bruno Fernandes.
And the Spurs players are better than United.
He said he would pick 10 of the 11. If he was to pick a first 11 of between Man United and Spurs, only Bruno Fernandes gets in from Man United.
I think he's a baby.
Who? Gary Neville?
Baby, yeah.
He's a big baby.
Baby.
I think it's
for me. I think
comment.
that is a massive, and that's disrespect. It's not a criticism. That's disrespectful. Because you're not comparing United to the likes of Liverpool, who won the league.
They're both 16, 17th in the league, by the way.
You comparing 16 and 17 only. So they're not even, they do worse than United. So to me, is disrespectful to even make that kind of comment about only one player can get into United. So I understand sometimes when they don't perform, and it doesn't help. Even I think Bruno said it a couple of weeks back. It doesn't help. Obviously we need massive help because obviously we got new manager. It was different. Previous players who come up nowadays is they've done it before. They know what it's like to play for United, and when you watch it,
but that was a different time.
I know, but when you watch it, to them, they're looking at players' body language. It's like they don't care, they don't want, and that's to them. It's like, come on, we play for this club, we play for our heart. I think that could. Gary Neville sometimes doesn't even think what half of the thing.
Yeah, he's too emotional. He's too emotional. Because I feel like Vicario and Onana is a toss-up. I'd probably just go with Vicario just about because Onana's had a horrendous season, especially in the league. I think Mazraoui probably gets in ahead of Porro for me because Mazraoui's he's been a quality this season. Defensively, he's better than Porro for sure. Porro's probably better going forward. But as I said, I feel like Amad
he's more
gets
defensive.
In. Yeah, obviously Bruno we've already mentioned, and I feel like Luke Shaw. I know he's only just come back.
Out injured.
I don't think De Ligt. Euro you could argue, but I don't think Maguire or De Ligt or anyone else gets in the centre backs. I think Romero and Van der Ven are pretty picked. But I'd say at least 3-4 Man United players get in if you're being realistic, not if you're being over emotional. So I just wanted to address that.
I want to see what he will say and when they beat Spurs.
Well,
next
if they
week.
beat Spurs, hopefully.
You don't even have a hope for your team. Innit?
No, I do, but I've been let down so much, man. I do. I always have faith in my team, but I just hope.
I think it's a tight one because obviously I think obviously nervous plays a it plays massively.
Yeah, but this is why
both lost.
having players like Casemiro and whatnot, and Bruno, they're big game players. Maguire's played in European finals, Luke Shaw has.
And that's the thing. I think that will help massively because of the experience.
Yeah. The last thing I wanted to ask you is, both teams played on Friday night. So Spurs played away to Villa, and United played at the Bridge against Chelsea. Spurs rested pretty much the entire 11. Man United played a strong 11. What would, as a coach, bear in mind the game's 5 days later, so we're playing on a Friday, the game's on a Wednesday. Of course, you're risking injury, but who would you think would have the advantage in that situation? How would you, if you were a coach, if you were managing, what would you have gone with?
United, 100%.
The stronger team?
Yeah.
Why? What's the reason?
Because one is, when players rest more than 7 days, you now stopping them from having that much sharpness into the game. So obviously, he's smart. He's like, I'm not resting. If they get injured, I've got players that can play.
Right.
So mentally, he's preparing this team for, next the cup final. So you will look at in terms of the sharpness. I think United probably dominate the game because it's not 2 days, 3 days. It's 5 days away. Hence why they both
That's what he
played.
said. That's what Amarim said.
It's 5 days. It's for me. I would play my whole entire squad.
So you think Amarim was right and Ange wasn't?
Oh yeah, 100%. Because Ange only did it because I can't afford it because I want to win that game.
And he doesn't want to get any injuries.
He doesn't want to get injuries, but at the same time, is your team just played Saturday. Now you're going to rest them another 2 weeks. That's 2 weeks they haven't played competitive football.
Yeah, that's right.
So now, how sharp are they going to be for that game? It's like pre-season.
Do you think players will lose sharpness that quickly?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh, 100%. Because you're not playing competitive football. You're just training. Because your mentality is not as
that you lose
sharp.
That extra 5-10%.
Oh yeah.
Edge.
But you might be energetic. But then it will just show out on the day. Because I think for me, that was just nonsense not to play your entire squad.
So okay, fair enough. All right. Finally, predictions for the game. Score and goal. I know you said 3-1 before, but score and goal scorers as well for United and Spurs. Give me some predictions. 2
penalties for Bruno.
I'll take that. Yeah. Romero, start kicking some shins in the area.
They're both not scoring. I think it will be done by penalty.
So you change your mind from 3-1?
No. No, it will be scored by penalty scores.
Oh, okay.
I don't think it will be scored from open play, both of them. They just not at the moment. They just
You think it'll be set pieces?
Oh, no, either penalty.
Fair enough. I'm going 2-1 Man United in extra time. Harry Maguire. You had it here first.
I'll still stay with 3-1.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll still stay with 3-1.
Right, that was the end of the podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think of me as the host. Not that I'm going to take Jay's place because he's irreplaceable. But please obviously like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for all your support constantly. And let's hope the next time we're recording, we're the champions of Europa League again. Al, top man.
Pleasure.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you very much,
Cheers.
mate. Appreciate
Legend.
that.